Yo, what's up guys? It's Yellowfin, and now this is my second time trying to record this video. It is going over the niche or like uncommons that you don't really know that are good, but they actually are relatively good cars to have. And so basically what this is like you usually know if you are working on collecting up a bunch of uncommons to have for like clubs or for sometimes events or RQ saver cars. You usually know what most of the good ones are, most of like the really good ones that you want to keep are. However, there are some that are actually uncommons, I mean, that people don't really know too much about, but they actually are really useful, like sort of hidden cars that, when maxed out, they are actually really useful and perform really well for some events. And so that's basically, these are 10 cars that in my experience have been very useful cars for me, and that have helped out a lot, and I do recommend keeping if you want to keep it. So, I mean, they are some useful cars if you're looking for uncommons to max out or keep. Then these are some ones that are definitely good to look out for if you don't have them already. So my first one is the RQ29 Honda CRX, because it is front wheel drive, so it gives it the front wheel drive niche. It is medium ground clearance, very lightweight, 6.4 seconds 0 to 60 and 83 handling, and it is Japanese, so you can use it along with the Nissan Fairlady if it's like dry events, and use it with that because they have relatively similar stats. They're not like similar, but they are pretty close together, so they'll both be very useful to have. And it is Japanese medium ground clearance, so it fills in a different medium ground clearance niche if you need medium cars for a specific country, because then there's other good ones like the Polo or the Fiat Uno, the Peugeot 309 GTI. So like it goes along with like the Nissan Micra or the Suzuki Swift. If you need some medium ground clearance cars, the Honda CRX is also a pretty good option to have. The next car on this list is the RQ27 Rover 623, because it has very good handling for being a front-wheel drive standard tire uncommon. 86 handling is good for an uncommon, but really good for standard tires uncommon. It's also decently lightweight, medium ground clearance too. Has ABS, so it's not too bad, I guess, when it comes to like rain. Well, actually, it's really good when it comes to rain. So it's definitely a useful one. If you look at other cars in its category or near it, Volkswagen Passat maxes out 7.480, has better 0 to 60, but the Rover has 6 higher handling. Same for the Pontiac Aztek, the Rover has 5 better handling compared to it, and it's basically a better version of the Chevy Cruze LS. So it is definitely a really good one to have. Another one that I have on here is a really good all-rounder and RQ saver is the TVR 3000S, 5.9 seconds 0 to 60, 82 handling, 135 top speed, maxed out at 323. Relatively lightweight, actually, yeah, pretty much relatively lightweight, low ground clearance. It's British, and it works really well as a RQ saver if it's like rear wheel drive times 5 and that's all dry. It works good for like throwing it on a slalom test or something if you want to save RQ. And it also works really well when it is dry. And then for the club event, it's uncommon cars times 5, UK cars times 2, where I usually use this TVR, and then I use my Lotus Europa 47 twin cam. These two work very well together when using it in club events, and they've definitely helped me out a ton. And then another car on the list is the RQ26 Subaru Impreza. Now this one has 9.4 seconds 0 to 60, 80 handling, 4-wheel drive, and standard tires. But you think, this car actually isn't really specifically made for rain. Now it is a rain car, and it works really well in rain, but where it really shines is one track, which is the ocean beach mixed slalom thing, which is where you got like the slalom test on the dry and it's the ocean track sets, and then you turn around and go onto the beach to race to the finish line. It's that track, and this car is absolutely amazing there because it has 4-wheel drive standard tires, where like lower RQ cars that are like have off-road tires or all surface tires struggle. This car is very good at it, and then since it has 4-wheel drive, it's able to do very well in the sand part as well. Mine is actually 105 races, 90% win ratio, and that's usually the tracks that I use it on, and it's also not too bad of a car for off-road as well, because it has that 4-wheel drive standard tires grouped together, so it's actually a very good car for off-road track set, which not many people would really think when looking at it. Then another car that I have on here is another good all-rounder. It's the Nissan Silvia Varietta. It's like a basically version of the Dodge Slingshot, but for more faster stuff, because it has 85 handling, which is pretty strong for an uncommon, especially an RQ25 or like lower uncommon. Then it's got some pretty good handling for that. 0 to 60 is relatively fast, but it's not great. It's sort of in the middle of like great and not great. So the 7.1, but it has 141 top speed as well, so it does keep on accelerating where other cars with faster 0 to 60 do not. So it's not too bad of an all-rounder to have, especially with low RQ events, or if you want to save RQ. Another one, which is a car that actually helped me get a carbon fiber, is the Honda Civic CRX SI. This one is actually a car I used in a challenge, and it was very useful. Another part where it is useful is in the Honda x5 club requirements, because usually they aren't very high RQ, because the highest RQ Honda is an RQ65 Epic, which is the NSX-R, so they're not really going to throw very many high RQ Honda events at you. It's mainly going to be ones where you need super rares, rares, and then uncommons. And if you want to use maybe an ultra rare or something, you might need to go low with an uncommon. And this is definitely a good one to use. 7.2 seconds 0 to 60, 82 handling, and with a weight of 746, it is definitely a good all-rounder to have that will not lose you very many points. Another one on the list is a car I actually used in an event, which is the Fiat Tipo 2.0, and it helped me win a ceramic pack. And that's because it is a good low RQ all-rounder that will not lose you many bonus points, which is definitely useful with some uncommons, because that's what you want to use them in your hand for. It is to save your RQ points and hopefully not lose you very many points. Decently lightweight, medium ground clearance as well, which helps. 7.460 to 60, 80 handling, so it's not as good as like some of the other medium ground clearance cars like the Suzuki Swift or the Ford Mustang Cobra, but it's Italian though, which has its own sort of little area, and with many low RQ Italian cars, they don't have as great of handling, like the Maserati 3500 GT, or just many low RQ Italian cars in general don't have as good of handling. So it's definitely a useful one and helped me get a ceramic pack in event. So it is a pretty niche car that did help out. Then another car on here is a car I use a lot. It is the RQ21 Volkswagen Sirocco. It has 6.8 seconds 0 to 60, 77 handling, pretty lightweight as well, and low ground clearance though, so that's why it keeps it low in RQ. And basically, it's just a good car if you need a car that is fast, but like not like dragster fast, but like useful in case there are some drag strips, but then it's like not a drag strip every time you go into a race. So then you need to throw it somewhere else, then it will beat all the people that are using dragster cars, and it'll win against those. So it's basically just a good low RQ car, especially since it has front wheel drive too, so it's very useful in front wheel drive, very low RQ club events. It's definitely a good one to have if you want some good all around stats that are mainly focused on acceleration. Then another car on the list is the RQ21 Lancia Beta HPE, which is one that I just got recently because it is Horror Show. And since it has the Horror Show tag, then I kept it. 8.7 seconds 0 to 60, but 83 handling, which is very good. It's also lightweight, medium ground clearance, and mine is at 54 races with an 85% win ratio, which is definitely not that bad for it being an uncommon. So yeah, that's a pretty useful one too. And then the last car number 10, is the RQ23 Nissan 280Z. It has a 93 total races, 84% win ratio, and what makes it different from all the other Z's is that it's medium ground clearance. So it has a different sort of niche area that you can use it in. Rear wheel drive as well, which gives it another niche area because not many low RQ cars with pretty solid handling are rear wheel drive. So like I've used it with City Streets Club events, I've used this and the Chevy S10 Extreme together, and they work very well together to have for club events, and they are very helpful. So yeah, that's another car that I do recommend to keep. It also has the 70s. It's from the 70s too, which is helpful. It had Christmas collection too. I didn't really get much use out of it though with Christmas collection, but it is not a bad car to have. Now I've also got 3 honorable mentions like the last time, which are cars that are a bit more common, but still I'd like to have them on this list, which is the Suzuki Cara. It's basically a better version of the other car, which I can't remember. It's the same car as this one though, but this one has ABS on it, so it is a bit better on the rain. Another car is the, let me find it, because I don't remember which one it was. It's a Dodge, but it's somewhere in here. Where is, I might just have to sort by Dodge, because I can't remember. Oh, there it is, the Dodge Daytona Turbo Z. It's a good car for front wheel drive club events, since it's low ground clearance, so you can save quite a bit of RQ. 6.4 seconds 0 to 60, 82 handling. It's a good car if you don't need something for city streets that front wheel drive. And then another car, which is a newly found one that I have, which isn't very well known, but it's also not like super good, is the Ford Escort Mexico. It's a good one for off-road if you need very low RQ cars, because it has rear-wheel drive compared to other people that use front-wheel drive stuff. Rear-wheel drive has a better advantage on off-road track sets, and it's also pretty lightweight, medium ground clearance. I've had it for 37 days, but that's not what I meant to say. I've used it for 39 races, 69% win ratio. It's also two-tone, so it'll probably be useful in the future, but it isn't too bad of one to have as well. So yeah, that's basically my recommendations of like other uncommons if you're looking for other uncommons to keep. That'll be useful in some events, or mainly clubs. Clubs is definitely where you'll get a lot of use out of your uncommons. And these are like some other ones that I've had pretty good experience with using, and they will definitely help you out if you max them out. So yeah, that'll conclude it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that cool stuff. I'm Elephant. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.